Coming up on this episode of the Preston North End Weekend Warm-Up, and we're celebrating and supporting our female fans and friends both here and around the world. All that and so much more, but only here on the Preston North End Weekend Warm-Up. And hello again, and a very, very warm welcome. Loads to get on with this week because, as I'm sure that you are aware, on Wednesday it was International Women's Day, and this weekend at Preston North End's match against Cardiff City, it is the dedicated Her Game 2 match. So to tell us more, we've got an expert on probably just about everything. Rebecca Robertson is the head of community, I meant that in the nicest possible way,
I'm taking it.
The head of community engagement at Preston North End. So thank you very much for joining us.
Problem.
One and a half of you as well. The bump is on its way soon. So let's start then with this weekend. And first of all, just remind people what is happening.
So most people will be aware that it was International Women's Day yesterday. So this weekend is our themed match day for International Women's Day, and it also coincides with our Her Game 2 fixture. So our Her Game 2 fixture, this is the second time that we've done this, the second year running, and we're hoping that this year will be bigger and better than it was last year.
Who are Her Game 2? What do they do?
So Her Game 2 is an initiative to promote and support females either within the sport, females who follow the sport, female supporters, and just females in general, and celebrating all that females have got to bring to the game.
It was great last year, wasn't it? It was the first one, the first dedicated day at North End last year. I think it went very well. Saw loads of great pictures, was at the game, wandered round, like selfie squares and all sorts happening. So what is happening on this time specifically with regards to that we can get involved in?
So we've got a number of different initiatives happening on Saturday. So before the game, we've got a few groups that are coming in who are coming for the first time ever to the stadium. So we've given some tickets out to Preston Muslim Girls High School, who are going to be our representatives, and they're going to hold some flags and be a bit of a guard of honour for the players with the Her Game 2 logo on there. We've also got some of our Wildcats, so some of our little teeny tiny females who play football regularly at one of our sessions who are coming in. They'll be doing the half-time penalties, and we've got some Preston women's football team who are coming as well. All the rankings, so all the ages all the way up. And then we've also got a number of our staff who are also going to be wandering around, giving out leaflets, giving out flyers, talking about everything amazing and everything female, and all the ways that you can get involved in the initiatives that we do. We'll have the selfie frame out, we'll have buckets for donations, and it'll just be a really nice day celebrating everything that's female within the sport.
Right, so that's all the things that people can do that we can see. What's changing? Is it making any difference? It's
making a huge difference. I think if we'd have had this conversation this time last year, again, it was the first fixture that we'd ever done. We've grown and grown and grown. Females are becoming more recognised within the sport, both as supporters and as those that are playing. The England females have done absolutely amazingly in terms of representing everything that we want the sport to be. Girls, little girls in particular, are looking up and thinking, I can do that. I can be one of those people, and there's nothing more amazing than that. I think everything that's going on behind the scenes, both in the media and the stuff that we're doing as a charity, is just increasing massively. We've got more and more sessions that are predominantly female delivered. The amount of females that are accessing our provision is huge, and more and more people are becoming advocates for females within every sport, not just football.
My first ever North End game, my Auntie Jean took me on to it with my cousins Mandy and Stephanie, who still come on today, and Mandy brings and Steph bring their kids and stuff as well, and it's great. My mum actually probably looked just like you, ironically, for a game against Cardiff City a few years ago, and she got stuck in the turnstiles, and me inside her. So I've always been with women at football matches and noticed that the way that sometimes it's like, oh, well, what do you know, if any of them are talking, whereas they might listen if I was talking, my grandpa was talking. Last summer, the Euros, women lifting that, it felt like there was a glass ceiling broken. Have you seen that?
Yeah, 100%. It was like a big switch went off. I mean, I watched it similarly to you. I come on the football games with both males and females, and you can tell the difference, and you can tell the difference within who wants to be listened to and who's, how does she know the offside rule, when actually, that's such a backdated view to have. The Euros in particular, I mean, I watched it with my nephew who's 11, his male friends, my brother-in-law, my partner, and none of them were afraid to say they had tears in their eyes when the girls did it. They had tears in their eyes when the men didn't do it, and unfortunately it was something that just completely changed. And I think if you didn't watch that game and you didn't feel something lift, like you say, that glass ceiling, that invisible wall that just disappeared, it's okay for females to be involved, and not just to be involved, but to win and to succeed and to just want to do more. And if that doesn't make you watch that and want to be an advocate, I mean, people like you, just because you're male, don't mean that you can't be involved in her game too. You're our biggest advocate. The males that are listening, that are watching, that are listening to all the inappropriate comments that are made, we want you to be an ambassador for her game too, just as much as somebody like me, because I'm female.
Yeah, my daughters are now, well, the eldest one is more of a football fan, the younger one, I won't tell you this, but I'm working on that one now. But in terms of their peers, they don't seem to have a problem with it. Is it more people, sort of older generations, my age, that sort of thing, that we need to work on them? I know it sounds like a simple thing to say, but it's changing theirs so that the next generation aren't tainted.
I think it is a generational thing. I think it's something that, you know, back in the day wasn't as normal and wasn't as okay as what it is now. But life's changing. It's 2023. We're in a complete different world to what we were in before, and it should be celebrated. And more initiatives like Her Game Too, more conversations like this, more people talking about how it's okay, it's going to make people start to believe that actually it is.
And if you're sitting there grunting, going, "Oh God, you're the problem," rather than anybody else, so think on for that one and do something about it, he says, wagging his finger at you as well. There are people watching this. I think there's about 6 now, including my mum and that person in Bamber Bridge that we were talking about who watched this, that maybe can't get to my mum was there, but that can't get to the game this weekend, in all seriousness. So in terms of how people who can't be at the game this weekend, how can they get involved, and not just this weekend, but the other 364 days of the year as well?
Yes, so we have a number of initiatives, not just for young people, all the way up to adults, and those that are even a little bit older and might not necessarily be able to play the sport anymore. We've got a number of different initiatives. Everything that we push out goes onto the website, goes onto social media platforms. We'll also be there handing out any flyers on Saturday, so please come and see us and take some flyers if you do see us, for those relatives that might be present or might not be present, and will want to get involved. But just keep an eye on all of the social media platforms, the website, the club's website, and make sure that you see what we're getting up to, and a share and a retweet, and just pushing out and celebrating things that we've pushed out already is a massive help, because we're getting the word out there.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, as always, for your... You can do this, actually. I'll just clear off and you
I've
just
told you, I'm
present the
taking
rest of
over,
it.
this is it.
And I'm all right with that. I had a chat with Preston North End's captain this week as well, Courtney Woodhead, and we spoke about how Preston are doing at the moment, their position in the league. We'll hear about more of that in just a moment. But we started off, as we mentioned, in the summer, England lifting the Euros, and how great it was for Courtney as a female footballer.
Honestly, it was literally like the best experience. Obviously, no one ever thought that this would happen, and they played absolutely incredible throughout every game through that tournament, and then to finally get that moment, like even myself watching it, it was just amazing. Like, I can't imagine how they would feel actually doing that.
It's I mean, women's football, even when I was little, it's always been, oh, it's getting there, and it's a million miles on from when I was little, which was a long time ago, before, just in case you're about to say that as well. But what difference has this made? Actually, you know, seeing England become elite and lifting an elite trophy.
I think it's made a lot of difference, even to players, like girls that may not have or questioned going into the football career. I feel like this has helped them like realise that if they can do it, then they can also do it as well. I just feel like it's a massive message out there that if you are going to get into football, then you can do that, and you can achieve what the England women have just gone and done as well.
And it's International Women's Day today, as you and I are talking. This weekend at Deepdale, it's the dedicated Her Game 2 match, which is fantastic. Are you noticing that things like this are making a difference as well, from you as a woman, and in terms of maybe youngsters around you, or hopefully now looking up to you as Preston North End's captain?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I feel like obviously even like just the little things like organisations being put into place, more people are realising what like the difference is now to women's football than it was, and I feel like we still have got a long way to go, and I feel like this is just the start of it all.
Do you do stuff like that as well? Has it empowered you to start actually cutting out people that might use language that they shouldn't use, and actually empowering? All this has actually been of a really big positive for women and football?
Oh yes, definitely. Like even like people just making little comments about like us playing football, or like that we can't play like the high standards that all like the men can. I feel like it's definitely helped and definitely got a message across to everyone.
So let's talk about you then. As I've just said there, I mean, you're our captain, leader in defence as well with that. So how's it going for you this season? I think the last time that I spoke to another one of your teammates, it was, as I think is now, just waiting to sort of play catch up. So how are you doing at the moment in terms of how your playing is going?
I feel like, well, at the minute we're doing very well. I think we played 10 games. So obviously, yeah, we have got a long way. I think we've got another 12 games to play. I think we currently sit 7th in the league, which may seem now quite low. But again, we have only played 10 games and we've got a very good chance of winning the league. I think if we go out and win all 12 games that we've got left, we will finish top of that league.
And as you say, I think you've got that many games left, and the team at the top's only got 3 more to play. So yeah, it's definitely catchable. Tell us about the cup competition, the plate competition, because you've played a couple of teams from higher leagues in that one. So how did that go?
Yeah, we I think one of our games was against Bradford. Again, they are 2 leagues above us. So obviously we went into that game not expecting much, but obviously we went in, give it us all. If you were watching that game, you wouldn't think that there was 2 leagues above us. We matched everything. We matched every tackle, everything on that pitch. Obviously, we didn't come out with the result we wanted, but it was a very, very close game.
So who have you got this week? Have you got again this weekend?
Yeah, we're playing Sir Tom Finney at home this weekend.
Good stuff. And as far as sort of looking longer term for you, what do you think that this North End team can achieve? And what would you say to someone watching this now, whether that be whoever they are, about coming along to watch them, but as well for young girls who maybe want to be like you?
I feel like our main goal for the rest of the season and for the future coming up is just to be able to get more chances. So we've been able to play 1 game at Deepdale, which was last season. Obviously, we want more chances like that. Obviously, that would bring us more fans, like a bigger stadium, be able to play in, which obviously will then let us progress a lot more than we are. I would say that anyone watching this or anyone trying to get into football is just go and do it. Obviously, if you want to do that, you'll be able to achieve it.
Right, before we look forward to this weekend's visit of Cardiff City, let's look back to April 2009 and a memorable match between the two teams, a 6-0 win for Preston North End that put their playoff hopes back on track.
Out come the 2 teams from the tunnel away to our right-hand side, and we're all set for what should be another exciting game here at Deepdale, and could have a big impact on what happens between now and the end of the season in the Championship. Something has to give between these 2 promotion chasers at Deepdale this afternoon. Defeat would all but end Preston's hopes, while Cardiff's chances of going up automatically could be hit. Alan Irvine knows his team are at the last chance saloon and desperately need a win in their final 3 games starting today to keep their Premier League dream alive. Lonergan is ready now with the free kick for Preston, which he sends forward towards the edge of the box. Parkin tries to nod it down. Mellor, deflected, goal! Neil Mellor will claim it. Preston North End have the lead on 15 minutes at Deepdale. Parkin's flick on, Mellor with the finish, and Preston, they just won't let the playoff dream die.
Fantastic, Jonathan, it's just what we wanted, and you can feel the relief going around the supporters, and basically just get in. It took a lucky deflection, but we'll take it.
And it's going to be Wallace who will try and deliver now from this free kick. And there's a line of Preston players on the edge of the 18-yard box for him to try and find. Wallace delivers towards the back stick. Mawani is there. He'll head it back across goal. Might fall for Mellor. Here's McKenna from long range. Deflection. It's another goal. McKenna striked it. I think Neil Mellor is claiming it. It doesn't matter because Preston have doubled their advantage just before half-time. And it's the perfect 45 minutes for Alan Irvine. It's Preston North End 2, Cardiff 0. And well, pick the bones out of that one, Steve. Is it McKenna's goal or is it Mellor's goal?
We really bothered, Jonathan. I mean, that's just a fantastic scoreline, isn't it? 40-odd minutes to be 2-0 up against high-flying Cardiff.
Trying to find Buthroyd. He plays it back. It's a cross in towards the penalty area, headed away by Sedgwick. McNaughton is following it up and tries to find Roger Johnson, who goes down, and the referee points to the spot, and it's a penalty. Looked very soft indeed as the Cardiff City man went down deep in added on time at the end of the first half, looking to get Cardiff a goal that will bring them right back in this match. The referee just sends away the Preston players. It's Ross McCormack versus Andy Lonergan. The Cardiff man waits. McCormack steps up, right-footed, saved by Lonergan. Super save as well from the Preston keeper. The Preston players mob their goalkeeper. The half-time whistle goes. That's the last action of the half. But what a save from Andy Lonergan, from Ross McCormack, from the penalty spot. It's the final action before half-time. He did really. McKenna, who looks like he's going to be denied a goal on his 472nd appearance, because it certainly looked as if it came off Mellor, who's played a great ball forward now for Parkin, who's through on goal. His touch is a bit heavy. Parkin anyway, 3-0 to Preston. Surely that's the 3 points as well for Preston North End this afternoon. The Beast has got his 10th goal of the season, and it looks like Preston are going to keep the playoff dream alive for another week at least. It's Preston North End 3, Cardiff City 0. And Cardiff will take it. Kennedy back to his goalkeeper, Taylor, and Parkin will put him under pressure. It's as if someone said to the two Preston strikers to put Taylor under a bit of pressure in the second half, and they're certainly running onto his clearances. Sedgwick doing terrifically well now, getting away from two players, laying it off to Mellor, who crosses the ball in, trying to pick out the striker Parkin, and it's headed into his own net in comical fashion. And Preston North End have got a fourth, and it's turning into a disastrous afternoon for Cardiff City and Dave Jones. And I think it's Mark Kennedy who has got his hands on his head. He has put through his own net in horrendous circumstances to give Preston their fourth. And towards the centre circle, Preston playing their football again and finding a bit of space, and it's Nolan who's running forward down the left-hand side. Nolan just cuts in field onto his right foot, plays it into the path of Sedgwick now, who crosses, looking for Brown with the header. Brown scored. Preston have 5 this afternoon against Cardiff City, and it's the substitute Chris Brown who gets 2 in 2, and Preston North End are really running riot. The last 10 or 15 minutes or so, giving him a bit of a break. And here is Williamson coming through. He's got Elliott to his right. Williamson goes alone. It's 6. Lee Williamson with his first ever goal for Preston North End, and the afternoon is getting better and better. It's 6 now for Alan Irvine, and this result is beyond his wildest dreams. It's still with Cardiff on the left-hand side, but there goes the full-time whistle. It's a momentous day at Deepdale for Preston North End, running out winners over Cardiff City by 6 goals to 0. 2 for Neil Mellor, 1 for John Parkin, Chris Brown and Lee Williamson, plus an own goal from Mark Kennedy, putting Alan Irvine and Preston North End in a terrific position at the end of this game. No one would have expected this. 6-0 against Cardiff.
How good would it be if we had a similar scoreline this weekend? Not getting carried away, let's get brought down to earth and let's have the inside track right here from the training ground at Exton. We'll hear from Ben Whiteman in just a moment, but let's start off with our manager, Ryan Lowe.
It's about what we do, and Cardiff are in good form, as you've said, under a new manager, solid, hard to beat, creating opportunities, so we know we have to be on it, of course. But it'll be about what we do, Tom. You know, the lads have been in fantastic spirits this week. We're on a good bit of run of form ourselves, and we want to try and continue that. There's no better place to do it at home. I think we've been fantastic the last couple of games, and if we can put a performance on and a show on our home for our fans, it'll be more pleasing.
Yeah, the team fine, but so are we. We don't want to let sort of the season peter out. We're all fighting for points, and that'll be no different different come the weekend. Obviously they are close to the relegation sort of group, but listen, we're going into the game wanting to win the game, and hopefully we can do that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good week for us, and it is an important week because we go down into the international break. We don't play for 2 weeks, and we want to try and get as many points on the board as we possibly can, because I think the next 3 games, maybe after the Blackpool game, when we get down to 7-8 games potentially, I think it'll define our season or where we're going to finish. And as I've said numerous times, Tom, we want to try and finish as we possibly can. We're sitting in a decent enough position now. Yeah, we'd like more points. It's not to be, but if we can collect as many points as we possibly can from now till the championship ends for the international break, then I'll be pleased.
You always want to end the week on a high, and obviously before the international break, you want to sort of end it with a few wins really. And obviously the first game comes on a weekend. We don't look past that, but it's one of them where we want to go in and get a good result and a positive performance.
And that is pretty much that. It's logistics time now though, isn't it? Okay, Rotherham and Gentry Day at Middlesbrough. The trips to both are now on general sale. You know where to go to buy those, mypne.com. This weekend's visit of Cardiff City is a swap to the Cop. And if you don't know what that means, basically if you've got a ticket for anywhere else in the stadium and you want to go behind the goal, on the Cop, on the Bill Shankly, go to the ticket office and get it swapped. All the details, if you want more, again, are online. The fan zone is open before and after the game, and as we mentioned before with Rebecca and Courtney, it is our nominated Her Game 2 weekend. Loads going on around the stadium. Get involved. That's it for now. Like, subscribe, follow, turn on your notifications, and don't forget, keep on shouting it. Come on, you Whites!